course, after the thrills and spills of yesterday, including that late winner for the champions Manchester City. Arsenal then going back to the top of the table by winning the London derby earlier on through Gabriel's goal. Manchester United beaten at Aston Villa. Southampton lose again, and Newcastle march on, another 4 goals for them. And Crystal Palace have won away from home for the first time in 8 Premier League matches after 3 successive home league wins. West Ham beaten by 2-1, and of course shortly our next stop will be North London for Spurs against Liverpool. So City started the day on top of the tree. Arsenal will end it 2 points clear of the reigning champions. Newcastle, temporarily at least until Spurs play Liverpool, are into the top 3, and Manchester United have missed the opportunity to close the gap on the top 4. Chelsea stay in 7th. Liverpool begin that game at Spurs down in 10th with the opportunity to go level on points with Fulham with a couple of games in hand. Southampton couldn't get out of the bottom 3. 12 points from 14 games, 4 wins from their last 26 Premier League matches. West Ham stay on 14 points in 15th. So too is Miguel Almiron. 7 goals in 7 games.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because his goal scoring record when he first came to the Premier League was pretty shocking. And now he's looking like a goal machine. I think it was a bit of luck there. Jimmy, you thought it might have been...
No. I think you're right.
Jimmy's joking.
I think you're spot on.
It just shows you, though, doesn't it? When things are going for you, it always... Yeah.
Callum Wilson off at half-time. Chris Wood on, then he does this.
Yeah, he knows where the goal is, to look where the goal is, does he? He knows where it is.
We were talking about these kind of players, these strikers. They know where the goal are. You know, the goal does not change. Great pass to Willock here, and he toe pokes it in the side net. Beautiful goal.
Just a consolation in the end for Perro and Southampton, and another difficult day for them, Righty.
Yeah, it looks it's not looking good, you know. For Ralph at the minute, if we're going to be totally honest, they just look like all over the place. And then Gamara's at the end there, just to put the cherry on the icing. Beautiful finish. Southampton look all over the place. They look bereft. They look like they totally run out of ideas. There's no formation, no system, no nothing. They just seem like they're there for the beating.
And that tremendous start with 2 goals in 4 minutes to give them a 2-goal cushion in the first half. He couldn't have dreamt of a better script than the one he got.
That's what you want. Like I say, I thought Ollie Watkins played very well, ran himself into the ground today. But like once it got into this situation on Leon Bailey's left foot, it was going to be a problem. But he's dragged Lingard out of that hold, and I'm thinking Casemiro's got to drop in there because that just looks too big. There's a massive space there. Once he goes in here, you can see once the ball goes into Leon Bailey there, he's on his strong foot. It could have been avoided, obviously, if they were had their wits about them there. But Casemiro, very surprised, didn't see that.
And then Michael, this free kick from Digne.
Yeah, perfect. From a left-footed point of view, nice little position, mentioned at half-time. I don't know, that's a short way to goal. You know, that's where the left foot was always going to put it. You know, I question whether the wall could be the other way. Also, the 2 Aston Villa players were blocking the sight of David De Gea, but that's the problem. That's why I'm saying you could buy yourself more time by putting the wall on the other side and encouraging a shot into the far corner. But it was a lovely finish by Digne, and as I say, what a perfect start for a new manager. You know, 2-0 up after 4 or 5 minutes. It's a dream start for him.
United's only goal of the day was a fortuitous one as well, just before half-time.
That sums them up. That's what's their day about. Just luck. The execution was not great, but it was a big deflection and then it went in. And Man United was the whole game really second best, and they deserved nothing out of the game. Aston Villa was superb and they deserved everything that they got.
And the goal inside the first 3 minutes of the second half.
Well, it's a perfect time to score, Steve, because they would have gone into that half thinking, yeah, 2-0, we can go in there buzzing, but they scored a goal. It took a little bit of shine off, but then Villa just came out in the second half and they just picked up where they left off in the first 10-15 minutes. You know, no one's tracking Jacob Ramsey into the box. I think Ollie Watkins does brilliantly, look him out of spaces, and does brilliantly to pick him out, and then it's composure.
Brilliant finish.
You know, yeah, and a beautiful finish. You know, and they deserved it, because I thought that in the second half, Villa started to drop a little bit too deep, and then they invited Man United on, whereas there wasn't a lot of creativity from Man United. But in the second half, they came out and instantly put the game to bed with the third goal.
Newcastle have been beaten just once in 17 games. They're banging form, and
3 points, and Patrick Vieira will be absolutely
They needed
delighted with
that.
that. Big,
They needed
big
that.
result.
Only scored 3 goals away from home. They needed a win. They needed that.
They don't have an out-and-out striker.
No, that's the problem.
no, well, they're very difficult to find, and I've been pleasure
We set that up for him,
to
didn't we?
be with 3 hot shots. The bad news for everyone else is we can only afford 1 to stay with him. We have to say goodbye to the other 2. So Jimmy and Righty, the expensive ones, are off to enjoy the rest of the day. Next stop for us, North London. Spurs against Liverpool. Tottenham have slipped to 4th with that Newcastle win. Liverpool have lost their last 2. All the build-up to that one on the way next. Floyd Hasselbank can only cover one man, but it is the former Tottenham manager and captain Tim Sherwood who has joined us, of course, for Tottenham against Liverpool. So let me bring you the team news. Really interesting on both counts. Spurs are stretched, of course, because of Son's injury. Sanchez and Skip dropped to the bench. In Dyer, Bentancur and Perisic, with Basuma keeping his place in midfield. Liverpool, of course, had that super win, much needed win, against Napoli in the week in the Champions League. From that team, in Robertson, Nunez and Elliott. That means that Joe Gomez stays on the bench, and it is Konate alongside Virgil van Dijk at the heart of the Liverpool defence. Right, the managerial thoughts ahead of this one, beginning with the Spurs boss, Antonio Conte.
Lucian, we guess Perisic plays up with Kane today?
You will see, for sure. I have to find a solution, otherwise will be very, very difficult, because I repeat, Lucas Moura is not able to start another game because he has pain in his tendons. It was the same for Rodeki, and he's coming on the bench, but for sure we'll see if we take the risk during the game. And find a new solution. It means also not to invent, because you don't invent, but at the same time you try to adapt players in different roles, in a different position.
They like to do.
Yeah, it's a challenge because big strength of Tottenham obviously is the counter-attack, and if you lose the ball, it's then difficult to be compact in that moment. So that's a counter-pressing moment. That's where the protection has to be really alert and be in the right spaces. Brave centre halves around Harry, definitely necessary. Now we don't know obviously exactly which kind of system they played. I would say 3 different systems possible: 4-box-1, 4-1. 3-1 and 4-3-2, so 5-3-2, always 5 in the back. So that's what we have to look. But in the end, it's clear that we have to, just be in the right mood, play football, attack, be a threat in counter-attacks as well. These kind of things. Be really awake of and around set pieces. They are proper threat around set pieces. Concede some, but score a lot. And so both departments we have to be really spot on. That's it.